Okay, December. Instead of putting out 3 individual videos of December, I'm going to put out one video of all 3 sessions. All 3 sessions were on the river. One of them was an overnight session. And well, it was hard. It was very, very hard. But that's why they call it fishing and not catching. So let's get into it. Sunrise on the River Erne. The temperature gauge says it is negative 4.5, but it's okay because we're on the river and we're going to try and catch some pike. I've got my 4 rods in. The sun is just rising and it is beautiful because the van's telling me it's negative 4 at the minute, and I will believe it because I had to pour water over pretty much everything to get it de-iced a little bit. Back fishing on the river. I have been speaking to a couple of landlords, a couple of landowners, farmers, about getting access to their fishery, or their part of the loch or part of the land, and I'm going to have to buy a couple of whiskey bottles to sweeten the deal. But if it means getting access to fish some of the loch that's not really fished, then it's worth it. I mean, what's a bottle of whiskey cost these days? It doesn't cost an awful lot. But it couldn't go there because that one's frozen at the minute. I'm really enjoying the fact that we've had, for a couple of days now, negative temperatures. You know, this is good. It keeps lesser men off the bank. Leaves the angling for the proper anglers. So I just came back to where I was fishing in the last vlog that you seen me. No, I am not trying to catch that fish that I lost the last day. If it turns up, it would be nice, but I'm enjoying the fact that the water is easily a foot down from what it was last week. It's easily a foot lower, so the river's kind of coming into a nice level, nice sort of height. There is still flow. It's still pushing through a right bit. I'm using 6-ounce leads, and they're just about holding the bottom. Again, it's like the last time. I'm not fishing in the middle of the flow, I'm fishing off the flow. I have a big hybrid, a half a mackerel, a pollen and a roach, or a perch, I can't remember. But there's 4 rods. The pollen's obviously popped up. The hybrid, from putting it in the margins with the hooks in it, it's floating. So I don't know if that's whether it's got a bit of air in its swim bladder, but I'm not going to argue with it. Just hooked it up. I've given it a liberal injection of medicine. In very, very cold conditions like this, take your oil that you're injecting into your fish. Say you've got 5 mils of oil in your syringe, and then add 5 mils of vodka. Dirt, cheap, nasty, something like Grant's or some pish horrible vodka. Tesco's own brand vodka. The cheapest, the nastiest, the better. It's not because the fish are suddenly into Russia. It's because the alcohol gets kind of broken down a little bit by the alcohol breaks a little bit of the oils down. It means that instead of the oils congealing and freezing in a lump, it means that they can flow out of the bait. And because you've punched a load of holes in the bait, that means that any scent that's in the water from the bait is getting easier access out. Top tip for the day, and I haven't even had my coffee yet. Oh. I do have my gloves. Put these on because it's although at the minute there's no wind. When there is wind that comes through, it gets a bit nippy. So I'm putting on gloves. Of course I'll have to take these off if I catch something because I don't use gloves with the pike. I prefer to use my hands. I'm able to get into the gills and slip the hand in. I can feel things a bit better. I believe that if you're using the gloves, you could you're not really feeling that well. So if there's a loose hook in there, your chances of getting it at your fingers kind of raised a bit higher. So I can understand guys. I've seen some guys use like a golfer's glove, and I know Chico, he sells them out of his shop. The musky guys use them in America a fair bit, but I mean, there's a bit of a difference between like a golfer's glove and an industrial gardener's glove. Heavy leather gardener's glove, you're not going to feel inside of the mouth of the pike. Whereas the little thin-skinned golfer's type leather glove, I suppose you could get away with some. It's a bit lighter, a bit less industrial, but I don't use gloves. I don't mind catching nicks and hooks and stuff like that there. You just have to make sure that your tetanus jabs are on point. And I've already had them since I attached a fucking jack to my side a few vlogs ago. That sun's nice. Mr. S is thinking about coming down today, so if he's coming down, I don't know whether he's going to float fish or throw feeders or do what, but it's always good to have good company on the bank with you. Got a family of swans just migrating down. They seem to be doing like a box, where they're going down, then they come across the river, then they'll come up on this side. So, but two of them's over there in the bushes. You know that they're sleeping because they've got their heads under the wing. So they're over there sleeping. I wonder the swans feel the cold. It's not like they've got the facility to kind of, bug out and jump into a house and get warmed. They can't seem to do them any harm. They're all swimming around quite happy, I guess. They're not the brightest of creatures, if I'm honest with you. And I can remember when I was a teenager, I read a book about wartime United Kingdom, like not so much the fighting war, but like how normal people that didn't, obviously there was people that stayed and worked in factories and stuff like that, but they were told that they could only have like rations, which were, let's be honest, it was kind of weak, kind of pathetic, but they had to make do. So there was a couple of industrious locals in Northern Ireland on the Erne who developed recipes for swan. I always, you know, kind of I liked reading the different histories, the different books, and you had like inner city areas that were getting blitzed, and you would have thought that those guys would have had no shortage of food because they're in the city and all the food and people there. But it turned out that there was guys like farmers, basically farmers, agricultural guys, old school survivalists that knew how to hunt. You know, you had some guys that would go out and shoot venison and stuff like that. And hey, I understand that. I mean, you got to do what you got to do. If you're starving, you've got to eat. I mean, there's other books that I've read about the Iron Curtain and communism in like Eastern Europe, and how you had like guys in like Germany. You know, they were again like the Stasi was like the fucking just the carry on from the Gestapo, and they fucking had their eyes on you and watched you and grassed you up to the authorities if you did the shenanigans. But a lot of those guys were told, you know, fuck it, starve. I mean, Stalin, communist, he starved like millions of people. So you can kind of understand the culture that grew up, like the Eastern European guys, that when they go fishing, either if it's bream or tench or whatever, everything's killed because everything's food. You can understand that culture. You know, if you're starving, you will eat fucking anything. Not that it's a justification for doing it in the UK, you know, when it's catch and release, but I can understand the culture they come from. Anyway, I'm going to finish my coffee. I'm going to probably have to change the battery in you because it was 100%, but the cold's killing it. And then I'm going to put some more magic potion into those bits up there. Hopefully with the smells coming out going... Oh. That's the rod pod. Hopefully with the smells that's coming off the baits that's going down this side of the river, any fish that's using those drop-offs will smell them and come up, and here's a big fucking nasty cormorant. I hate cormorants. Not a fan, not a fan. Anyway, coffee, oil injection, let's see where we get to. Good old faithful bacon sandwich. Just got to get my grease on the go. And we're going to tart it up with some chorizo. Just into the pan for a few seconds. Nice hot pan. Chorizo slices, you want them to kind of go a little bit like that. The oil will come out of them really quick. You just want them nice and crunchy. Also, if you're going to add eggs to your bacon sandwich, now is when you'd add the eggs when you've all the chorizo juice. Because chorizo eggs are something special. And that's me ready for a bacon sandwich. Right. Hybrid mackerel tail. And then a pollen and a roach. Perch. Beautiful day. Ice in the margins. Numpties. Well, at least if they catch anything, I know it's going back. Fuck me, what a day. Just got on 2 o'clock. I have had a rather sexual bacon and chorizo sandwich and a cup of coffee. My visitors are leaving. It was strange to see Middle Eastern guys down here. I travelled all the way from up past Portadown, they said they come from. We had a chat. I explained to them that all fish caught will go back into the river and no humming and hawing will be had. So I suspect they're leaving to go somewhere else. Not that they caught anything. I mean, I suppose that's a blessing, I guess. I don't understand coming pike fishing with literally with no bait indication, not even a float on the line. Literally the bait was just put on, chucked out, left, and the rods were wedged into this mesh stuff that's on these jetties. I don't get that. I don't understand why you would come fishing for pike and you wouldn't have, you know, some sort of bait indication. I mean, yes, I'm fishing on a river. Yes, I have to have a bait indication turned up tight to make sure that it's the river, the water isn't going to pluck out or pull the drop arm out. But even if I, you know, the slightest pluck on my line sets off a drop, sets off an alarm. So if the fish picks up the bait, then there's noise and you're alerted to it. Now you don't have to buy Delcoms, you don't have to buy expensive alarms, but the very basics of like a float, you know, so you can see if the bait's taken because the float will disappear under the water. That's like the bare minimum. You know, chucking a bait out and just leaving it. I mean, the guys went into the field below me here and chucked out rods, and it's like, okay. They went back to their wee car and had Bollywood FM blaring. It's like, you know, okay, fair enough. You like your music, but Jesus Christ, you know. off somewhere else. Now back to peace and quiet. I'm going to fish to 5 o'clock and then I'm going to take a pack up and drive home. Ideally I want to be driving home before the before it gets, you know, too dark. The frost hasn't lifted all day. There's still negative temperatures. You know, you can see behind my van where the shadows are. The ice is still there, it hasn't thawed. It's a beautiful day and a beautiful place. It'd be nice if a pike turned up. Not greedy. I'll settle for one about £25. But let's see. Time, I think, for another cup of coffee. I've just put the new start again. I've recast new bits. I've injected them full of various oils and alcohols. I quite enjoyed my bacon sandwich. It was good. It will be, I have no idea where my phone is. I'll find it eventually. I'll find it eventually. Must be about 2:30. Got about 2 hours of light left and then it starts to go. So I'll start slow packing in about 3:30 so that's only the essentials out, and then I'll be leaving for about 5. It's only a day session. It's nice to be on the bank on a Sunday. It's nice to be getting away from everything. You know. I'm going to make a mug of tea. Or rather not tea, I'm going to make a cup of coffee. For that you need coffee, sugar and milk. Nice and simple, nothing complicated. The sun's just literally over there, so coffee. I just got this on a whim, this stuff here. It's almost like a mocha, like a chocolate with coffee. So it's actually quite nice. I'll buy that again. Our kettle has boiled. Good old Coleman stove. Doesn't really need much. Just keep the petrol going on it, and she will keep you topped up with warm beverage. I actually had to shake this because there was ice forming on it earlier on. Don't fuck about with the lid when it's done there. It's a bit burny hot. It's amazing the things that you're starting to repeat now as an adult. You know, my child will do something like try and touch the oven or go to the fire, and you're there going, burny, burny, hot, hot, hot. I'm sure the child thinks, what's this bastard talking about? As she burns herself on it and goes, then cries and throws a tantrum because clearly me telling her wasn't enough. It's definitely my child. I know that for a fact. Don't touch that, it is hot. Yeah, told you it was hot. You didn't have to touch it. Yes, we do. It's in the Scobie blood. We may have to learn lessons the hard way. That's just our nature. The other weekend, after I'd done the session here, I'd went home and I'd made myself it was a whiskey and lemonade. It was just something, you know, it was just whiskey and lemonade. You know, the wife was having a glass of wine. I'll be honest, I can't remember the last time that I met up with all my friends in a bar. I'm not so sure if that's sad or if that's a good thing, but I can't remember the last time I was on the piss. And even like drinking, like from like being in the armed forces, you drink a lot. You know, finish work, down the bar, beer. You know, go to the gym, do a good workout, after the workout, beer. Play a game of rugby for the station or for the Royal Air Force. After the game of rugby, beer. You know, do some boxing for the military. After the boxing, beer. Seemed to be like a common theme, you know, working hard, playing hard. And it was never a problem. You know, I had friends that were guys that didn't drink, and they were always in the pubs with us. You know, they just had something else. You know, there wasn't nobody going, no, you shouldn't drink, it's bad for you. You know, there was people there, you know, we seemed to revolve around the bar. It was like a social hub. Things have probably changed. You know, it's probably different now. You know, I talked to some of my friends that are still in the forces. Now it's hard to believe, I joined the military in February 2000. So 22 years ago I joined the Royal Air Force. And if I'd have stayed in the Royal Air Force, I'd have done 22 years and been leaving with a full pension, as opposed to leaving after 12 with half a pension. Not that I, you know, cared. When I made the decision to leave, it was the right decision. I like to take my own destiny in my own hands, if that makes sense. Where I'd make a decision that's on my terms. That may sound daft, but a lot of the time in the armed forces, your decision making is kind of you're not maybe allowed to make your own decisions for things. You know, like for example, you are going to Afghanistan or Iraq. You know, at the time, you went okay. It's one of them things. You trained for it, you looked forward to it, and it wouldn't be wrong to say I didn't enjoy it. I enjoyed it. There was parts of it that were good. Parts of it were fucking terrible, but there was good times. There was good times. Even going on like exercises to Germany, that was good times. You got to work with some of the other armed forces. Things I found out about the other armed forces. The Dutch guys, they were just chilled. Always just chilled. There was never any stress with those guys, they were just chilled. The French didn't mix. They didn't mix with, they certainly didn't mix with us. They didn't mix with the Dutch or the German guys. They just tended to stay in their own little bits. The Germans were strange. They would be kind of over friendly. There's something very, very odd when you're in a tent with a big TV, and in comes a German guy with porn to watch. It's like, there's like 10 people in here, then you're sticking on porn. Not my bag. Not my porn for me was something that was a solo activity. It certainly wasn't in a room full of fucking people activity. Then the Germans were strange. It wasn't just like normal boys and girls. It was let me introduce you to my Alsatians. Like, nope, fucking nope, time to go, fucking wrong. But ultimately it was good to get to meet other nations and see how they operate. As a civilian, I'm enjoying life as a different sort of pace. There's days where I come home from work and it's like I had a good day at work. There's days you come home from work and you think, didn't have a good day. Now a job is just something to pay bills and fund the family, pay the mortgage, keep diesel in the van so it can come fishing. It's not a vocation. It's not something I jump out of bed and go, woohoo, work. Strange how life goes, I guess. Like, I'm in my 40s. I'm sure my mind still thinks I'm in my fucking 20s. While my knees and my back feel like I'm in my 80s. Good times. I have a little kingfisher. It's on the far bank. It's just darting between two trees, or it's darted between two trees. Little flash of purple, and it's like something that you don't see in it. You don't see it, I always like seeing little kingfishers. I bet you he's having better luck than I am today. Anyway, coffee time. Coffee. And then I'm going to have some cake. I'm going to use my cake slicer upper for cake. If that bridge wasn't there, this would be a cracking shot of the background. You've got those hills in the background, the nice loch, river. But, bridge, road traffic. The weather app says it's still -3. Hasn't went above 0 all day. So yeah, it's a bit nippy. So I'm going to fish on until dark and then take a slow drive home. won't be long till it's dark. Literally that cloud will have to go, not build up at the cloud, it'll literally dip from where I am about maybe half an inch into the horizon, and it's away. There is the end of the sunshine. So I think I might actually start putting like the rest of the stuff in the, well, all to go in the vans, my fucking seat and some cameras. I fish till dark. If I don't see you guys after this, then it means that there was no fish, no runs, cold day, out in the open, but it was a day fishing. So it's Mr. Magpie. Gotta do anything for good luck at this point. So, thank you for watching. If you've stuck around this long and listened to me talk bollocks and go fishing, I hope you've enjoyed the vlog, except for the fact there was no fish. There was cooking with scobes though, so you have to be kind of thankful for something, I guess. There is silvers above the bridge because there's cormorants working above the bridge again. So, something's above the bridge. But anyway, until the next time, troops, I will bid you farewell. Don't be scared, like and share and all the usual YouTube shit. And the link in the instruction thing, the comments below, there'll be links to the shops that I quite like using, for leads, for oils, for wire trays, even bite alarms, Go and speak to Pete at Advanced Predator Products and say I sent you, and he'll do the postage free thing, and you'll get some of the best drop arms on the market today. As for oils, go and see Eddie Turner. Fucking beautiful oils. Don't spill them in your van or your house, or your wife will hate you. Well, spill them in the van all you want, it's only me drives my van. But spilling in the house is a no-no. Smoky mackerel does not go well in the kitchen. Mrs. S was unimpressed with that. So until next time, troops, I bid you farewell. Tight lines. Christmas session. Woo! Christmas session! Well, it's actually 2 days after Christmas, but you still get the point. It's still a Christmas session. I'm not alone today. I'm being supervised. I've got 2 rods in. I'm not sure if I'll put another 2 rods in. I'm not sure if I'm here to stay the night or if I'm going to do a 1-day session. But let's see how it plays out, shall we? Get that intro rolled. Christmas present. I've had to replace the rod bag. The old Nash one had to go because the bottom had fell out of one of the pockets. So my good mate Cecil sold me this one. Brand new, never seen water. It holds 6 rods made up and 3 rods not made up. It's got these nice Velcro padded bits. And it's got the nice, this is like elasticated, but it holds all the rods. Folds up, lightweight. It's got a spine in it to stiffen it. And it's a lovely, that's the other side. It's a lovely camo coloured. It's got like long range pockets for like net poles and stuff like that there, so yeah, thank you very much, Cecil. It is pissing with rain. We're on the river. I've had a run from a small jack and a smelt, and I'm still weighing up whether or not I'm going to stay overnight. Drop barman's away. That must just have been the wind of the current. This is our perch. We perch. And we're on the bottom. It's a good depth here. Turn you off for a second. Right, I think I might just take a wee walk along the jetties and throw a wee lure about just to see if there's anything lurking below the lures, below the jetties, not lures. We're into deep water here. You've seen me fish here before, so let's see if we can catch something. Right, we have a Mirrorless mouse, which is like a big bucktail lure with some rubber tails. And normally this sort of lure, you can fish it as slow as you like, because it's just because of the feathers in it, it holds a lot of the water. I know I keep saying it, but I do plan to do a fair bit more lure fishing. That's just kind of this thing's slow, but you get a nice wee tug on the tails, wiggle. You can put a big shad on it.
of those lures you can fish as fast as you want or as slow as you want. You can actually add a big bit of lead to the nose of it to get it down deeper really quicker. So it is a slow sinking lure. Fishing this quite fast. Some orange, some white. Let that one sink a bit. Got my bait rods there. You see me catching my rod now. I might actually go get a cup of coffee, warm up a little bit. Because the wind and the rain is a bit shit. Notice I'm fishing with a titanium trace. I don't do this nonsense fishing with fluorocarbon. Not pike safe. know, how much more information on do people need when you sit and you watch videos of happy American guys getting bit off with fluorocarbolators? You think, why the fuck are you using it then? Why would you use something that's not pike safe? I guarantee you that nobody biting through £100 titanium leader. Yeah, cup of coffee time.
Well, it's just gone 4 o'clock. It's dark. The rods are going to be out for the first couple of hours at night time. I'm going to make another cup of coffee and then think about food really. It's been windy and rainy all day. Wind's changed direction about 4 times, but welcome to pike fishing in the winter. So, end of day 1. It isn't so bad. I've had 2 runs, both no connections, but the bait was taken both times. So 2 runs. I'm on the River Erne. It's a bit hard at the minute, but it's not so bad. I've only got the 2 rods out today. What time is it? It's just gone 7:30 at night, and it is dark, which is cool. I don't mind the dark. I have a wee fire pit on the go with some logs in it. That's quite nice. I haven't put the overskin on the tractor on the Tempest brolly, and I'm going to fish for another couple of hours and then pull the baits in and then get some sleep, I think. It's pissed with rain the whole day. It has been hard conditions, so before I go to bed I'm going to change this hoodie and the t-shirt underneath it and put something dry on. Ideally when you're fishing overnight you want to take off everything. You want to change the clothes that you were wearing during the day, especially your base layer, like your underpants, your socks, you know, because all day you're moving your feet sweat, socks get wet. At night time, wet socks means cold feet, so you don't want cold feet. As good as any bivvy system and brolly and thing is in the world, cold feet will keep you awake all night. They're just fucking horrible. So, change your shreddies, change your socks. I tend to sleep in a pair of like jogging bottoms and a t-shirt, but I will be sleeping in jogging bottoms, a t-shirt and a hoodie, and new socks. 2 pair of socks. So we're out. I had company today, a friend across from Scotland. He's doing a bit of visiting here, so we kind of done a day here in the river, just somewhere easy for him to get to. I didn't want to take him somewhere that was a million miles away from where they were staying. And to be honest, I haven't fished here for pike for a while, which is weird because normally I catch pike here. I mean, just that way, a couple 100 yards, they had the only 20-pound fish of last year on the vlogs. So there is decent fish here. It's just a case of finding them and digging them out, if you know what I mean. Before I get yelled at by the people who know where I am about having a fire, I've dug up the grass, flipped the sod, set the fire pit on top of the dirt. It's actually on top of 4 big stones. So physically it's not actually touching the grass. Tomorrow when it's finished, I'll flip the sod back into the place again. We're getting some weed coming down, as per my alarm telling me. Where was it? Anyway, sod. Flip the sod, put it back again, grass side up. Everything is cool. There'll be no trace that there was a fire pit there. Logs. Buy them in the garage or somewhere on the way down. I bought 2 cheap bags of softwood. You know, the stuff that's horrible, nasty pine. It's about 1 step away from being made into toilet paper. You know, so that's kind of been used at the minute. It's just kind of crackling away there. I have no idea how this is going to turn out. It might not even make it into the video because the light might be not usable. It might just be a fucking voice behind a dark screen. But it's good to be out. I enjoy getting out and spending the night. You know, you've got peace and quiet. Okay, there's a car park and a marina directly across from me, and the car park will be busy, but where I am here, the only visitors I'm likely to get are doggers and sex pests. So hopefully they see the campfire and think, no sex pesting down there. Fucking doggers. Tell you a story. This is a good one. We fished me and a few friends of mine fished on a venue where the car park was about 12 feet above the river, that bit we were fishing. And there were bivvies set up like a row, you know, so you're fishing, but you're the bivvies were kind of in the middle, and we kind of spaced out the rods just to cover as much water as we could. And in the middle of the night, we started to hear the old the rumpy pumpy noises. She was a screamer, so we had rumpy pumpy noises and much chortling and giggling, and maybe the odd shout of encouragement, you know, like, go on, give it to her. But they finished up and they drove off. The next morning I was woken up to screams by my friend, screaming. I stuck my head out the bivvy and I was like, the fuck is wrong? And there it was on the top of his bivvy roof, a Johnny. A used Johnny that had sat there the whole night on the roof of his bivvy. And I said to him, well, you're just going to have to set the bivvy on fire now, because I don't think you can ever use it again without being slagged off. To this day it makes me smile. The screams. Oh, good times, good times. Not sure what that is. It's just gone 6:30 in the morning. Still pretty dark. I'm just sitting here. For the last hour, I've kind of laid in my sleeping bag thinking, you do not need to get up and take a pee. You do not need to get up out of your warm sleeping bag and take a piss. But eventually that urge overwhelmed me, and it was a choice of stay in the sleeping bag and piss myself or leave. So I'm up. It wasn't that bad last night. It was a bit wet, some rain came in, but the cover thing for the sleeping bag, the overthrow thing, it took any bits of rain that came in. Yes, sensible, normal people would have zipped on the front door. Not much happened through the night. Oh well. On to today. This place is popular. There's 3 carloads of guys arrived down there. I know a couple of them. They've arrived down from Belfast direction. So they're going to fish down to my left. I have a kettle on the go because I need something warm. The wind has changed direction yet again. The direction is now back in my face. I think that's number 6 direction change. We started off, when we got here yesterday, the wind was straight the way across to the marina, and then it went down the river, up the river and back into my face. During the night it changed a couple of times. I'm wearing the wrong hoodie for this weather. This hoodie is quite thin, it's more a summertime hoodie. So I'm going to have to go and dig out a heavier one from the van. Oh. Light's just coming through now, it's just beginning to kind of get dawn. We're beginning to get light. The wind conditions, unfortunately, are going to get worse throughout the day. So I don't think I'm going to stay much further past 3 o'clock today. I think I'm going to be packing up around about 3. There's no real point staying much past that. I'm not doing another night here. It's not worth another night. It'll be interesting to see whether these guys with the baits in the water actually pick up any fish, because it's been slow. If it was better weather conditions, I'd have put some ground bait, some maggots in and tried to get some silverfish, just to kind of have something to do, but been it's been a bit rough for the old trying to flick a waggler out on it. Oh, come on, stop sticking to the fucking... This windshield I have is only it's very light, but it's okay. But you really ideally have to kind of stake it down. That's an idea for you tackle companies that are watching, or if you are watching. Make a windshield for cooking that has little tabs that you can drive pegs into, so that when it's on the ground it can be anchored to the ground. But let's see how it goes today, shall we? Oh, coffee. It's back to hammering down with rain. I'm in the process of trying to put away the bed chair, and I'm just getting battered with rain. So I'm going to finish my cup of coffee, then move the bed chair to the van. If it's going to stay like this all day, I'm not going to stay out there all day. I did a day yesterday where it was like this the whole day. Oh! I tried one of my ready meals. One of my, let me set that down. One of these. Oh joy, now we're getting hailstones. It didn't actually taste anything. It was, oh, hailstones. It was dehydrated pasta with some meat flavoured sauce. It was the bolognese one. And I'm not to be unfair about it, you know, it's more like a snack than a meal. I mean, it says that there's 600 calories in it. I don't see how that was 600 calories. You know, you fill it up with water, you let it sit for 8 to 10 minutes, you give it a squeeze, and it's basically pasta with some dehydrated veg in it. It was meant to be pasta bolognese. Don't get me wrong, if you're in a pinch, like if you're really stuck, I could see you eating it. You know, if it's one of those days where you're going in the day session and you can't be arsed bringing a load of like a cooking bag with you, because they're not any size, they're small, you can fit them into your backpack. All you really need is a kettle to boil your water and a spoon to eat it with. So I can see how that way it would be okay. It's a bit more tastier than a pot noodle, put it that way. I'm going to have to do a review on the overwrap for my bed chair. It's I think it's Fox Ventec or something like that. But it's basically a fleece lined thermal overwrap that goes over the top of your sleeping bag. It turns the Fox, I don't even know if it's R series sleeping bags, it's the Fox camo coloured sleeping bag that in itself is a cracking sleeping bag. I mean, I've slept in conditions where it's went down to -3 and 4. In fact, last time it was properly cold, it was Mr. H, and he said it dipped to -6, and you know, snogging a bug with the sleeping bag that I had, the thermal over wrap just adds that wee bit extra. And because I didn't put the front on last night, and there was a bit of rain, not much, but there was a bit of rain that blew in. Because it's Gore-Tex, the rain just sweeps off it and doesn't go through to your sleeping bag, keeps you dry, keeps you warm. I don't regret buying it, good job. I just wish I could figure out a way to leave it permanently fixed to my sleep system without having to push it into a stuff bag at the end of it. I'm sure there is. There's straps for it, and there's Velcro for it, and there's drawstrings for it, and I'm sure there is a way to attach it to the sleeping, but to the actual bed chair. I just haven't figured it out yet. The brain no worky, brain tired, brain sore. But I'm not enjoying hailstones. Nobody enjoys hailstones in the crotch. And the reason I haven't pushed the chair further back into the brolly is because the bed chair is lying flat on the ground here. I haven't actually relocated it to the van because, as you've seen, big hailstone shower. And fuck trying to wrestle with a bed chair and get covered in hailstones. Actually, to be fair, the way I packed my van, the bed chair kind of goes in the last, so it's kind of like the first thing out. So if I was having to use the barrow, it's the first thing to go onto the bottom of the barrow, so everything else will sit on top of the bed chair. It's just one of those. I mean, the R3s, they're like just the biggest bed chair that Fox make. I could have got away with an R1 or an R2, but I thought, you know, fuck it, why not go for the R3? I actually had a go on an R2 size bed chair and it was fine. You know, I'm a fat bastard, I'm a big guy, but the R series bed chairs, they're all rated to the same fat bastard weight. You know, they're all weighted to something like 150 kilos, and I'm not anywhere near 150 kilos. Before any cheeky cunt says, oh, how you still not fucking fall through it? It's one of them. They're, as bed chairs go, I'm no faults with them at all, none. I have a little wagtail dancing around my feet here, digging out worms. I haven't had any robins today or yesterday. I quite like the little wildlife. Little birds. There was a bird of prey floating around yesterday evening. I'm not sure what type of bird of prey it was, but it was like a kestrel or a hawk or something. It was a smaller bird of prey, not quite a bigger one. So it was good to see. I always kind of like seeing them. You know, in the summertime when I was fishing with Steve, we seen a sea eagle come in, and the beautiful animals. It was hunting hares and rabbits. But I'm going to finish my coffee because I made it about 20 minutes ago and I haven't actually got to drink it. So let me get my coffee drunk and then I'll get back to you. Take two, because I realised I had a big spot in my fucking chin and now it's bleeding. Shite. Anyway, good morning. The river is flowing. There's lots of flotsam and crap coming down it. But it's a day session. Hopefully I fucking catch something today. Roll the intro. I did have 4 rods out, but the river's actually rising and there's lots of crap coming down through the river. So I'm getting wiped out by weed. It's literally musical rods. It's cast the rod out, weed wipes it out. Cast one rod out, it sinks, you set the baital arms, everything's up. Cast the next rod out, you set up the baital arm. By the time you've done that, the first rod you've cast out, It's clipped out, but your line looks like a washing line full of weed and shit. So I'm fishing 2 rods now, not 4. This is New Year's Eve, so I hope everyone has a happy and safe New Year. Don't get arrested. Play safe. Have fun.
Right. There's a lot of flotsam and jetsam and crap coming down the river. I have 2 rods on down there. I have a big roach and an eel tail. I have a pollen on this one, and there's going to be a perch going on this side. Shut up. I've injected the roach with as much sardine oil as I can get into it, thinking being that because the river's pulling through quite hard, the scent will go down the far bank or down this side and hopefully wake something up. I mean, if you were a pike, you'd eat that. Lovely little perch. Standard ledger rig, run ring, length of line, 5 ounce lead. Unfortunately the 5 ounces is and that's maybe too far out. Oh, that's what's on the bottom. The rods are getting wiped out fairly quickly with the stuff that's coming down them. Off. Having the fish with the bait runners on because if I have the bail iron open as normal, then your line just spills off because there's so much going down as the river's moving so quickly. Believe it or not, this is meant to be the slack water side. So 5 ounces is just about holding the bottom on the slack water side. I'll let you imagine how much weight it would take to hold the bottom where on the far margins where the river's actually pulling through. Up that direction is Cleanish Island. Down that direction is the marina at Balnalek, opposite from where we did the overnighter there in the middle of the week. It was a tough couple of days. The rain kicked the shit out of me for 2 days. In the end, the hailstones just made me think, nope, had enough, time to go home. It's New Year's Eve, so I'm doing a day session, and then I'm off to drink copious amounts of alcohol and bring in the bells with my good lady wife. I think we're going up to my mother's house and bringing in the bells with my mother. The rain has just stopped today. You know, there wasn't much footage of this morning just because it was fucking hammering down with rain. Beautiful winter's day, isn't it? When it's not pissing with rain. I think I might try and make a bacon sandwich. Yeah, in between showers of rain. I think I might try and make something to eat. This is what I mean by getting wiped out by weed. I'm going to take the opportunity of getting all the crap off of this to whack some oil into the bit. So all this shit, you just end up with, unfortunately, too much of it on your line. Right, this bit's still frozen. So I'm going to pierce the belly. And put some juice in it. Let's get it juiced up. I'm a firm believer in the oils can't do any harm, put it that way. If anything, they might help. They can't hurt. I didn't get to put the bacon sandwich on yet. This line clipped out. Suppose I could. Eddie Turner sardine oil. To steal a phrase from the carpists, I was matching the hatch with the eel. It got whacked full of eel oil. Everything else just got put through. It either gets mostly mackerel or sardine oil. Strong, fishy. That scent will just get pushed down the river. In the hope that anything that's sitting on the bottom might wake up and think, something smells nice. Just the same way as a human might do when they come out of the pub after 10 pints, as they zigzag up the street and go, ooh, there is a lovely smell of kebab or curry or some sort of takeaway. get something on the go. Right, bacon sandwich time. Try and get bacon sandwiches on before the rain. Going to do something different breadways today. We're doing French mini roll baguette things. There's going to be chorizo bacon in them. Even though the fish might not turn up, at least we're going to be well fed. There we go. In the space of 2 minutes, all the rods wiped out by this sort of shit that's floating down the river. Basically this just comes down the river and smashes you and wipes you out. There's fuck all you can do about it. You just have to cast the rods out again and hope you're a bit luckier this time. At least the river gods let us have the bacon sandwiches in peace though, which was good. Oh, right, let's get these out again. Let's make sure that the bait's in tip-top condition. In other words, take off all this shit. We use the pollen. They're naturally buoyant, so unfortunately, because it's naturally buoyant, it's going to pop up and catch hold of flopsum and jetsam. Shite. 5-ounce lead. These are grip leads, just to try and hold the bottom. If I fish in the middle of the river, 5 ounces isn't holding the bottom, so I'm just fishing there. Boop, that's me on the bottom. Not fishing far out. I'm fishing in the slack water, just trying to keep the baits in the area where the baits are. Sorry, I'll clip this up first, then I'll tell you. This is meant to be the slack side of the river, and it's pulling through quite hard. And there's lots of stuff like this coming down the river, so it just wipes you out. So you're kept busy. Fishing with a long leader, lead link even, so that if I do get snagged, I can lose the lead but keep the most important bit, the trace. Again, not fishing far out, just fishing into probably the margins. Shut up. to the margins. The descent will basically cut down this bank. That's the fucking plan. Whether or not it works is the other thing. Let's get this boy all clipped up and the bait runner on. Not much you can do, you just have to recast. And hope that big clumps of shit like this don't take you out. No runs at all between the two of us so far. That's six baits in the water, and they're all getting the same sort of treatment with the weed. I got asked why I don't sink my rod tips. You know, normally in a river I keep my rod tips kind of high so that there's less line going into the water. But one of the fellas in England started to ask me questions like, on the rivers he fishes, you know, I don't know how it works, but sinking your rod tips, you need to have your rod tips kind of, you know, well sunk to avoid the floating crap coming down the river. But sure, what you don't see is the stuff that's in the river coming down. So sinking the rod tips won't have made any difference. You're still going to get wiped out by weed, but you just have to persevere, I guess. This is why they call it fishing and not catching. Although this will be, so far we have 3 sections plus today that's been a blank so far. So that kind of sucks. These are sessions where the rivers where we had negative temperature. We had a good week to 10 days of below zero temperatures, and then we had a thaw, and then we've had flooding, lots of rain. So I don't think the rivers kind of have had a chance to settle since the cold weather. They've been up, they've been down, they've been up, they've been down, and there's been a ton of cold water going into the system. Just have to keep plugging on. I may go down and put that big roach back out and try and finish my coffee. Oh. turbo back hard there.
Well, that's it for another session. We just drive through the swamp here. The week I've been off over Christmas, I've done, well, we'll say 3 sessions. One of them was a 1 day, then there was an overnighter, then this was the last of the 1 day sessions. The first session, they've all been on the river, so they've all been on the river. I went to the viaduct. You've seen me fish the viaduct before. It's where I hooked into a fairly decent fish and it came off at the net. That little tantrum that day. Well, I went back a couple of days later and there was ice in the margins. It was pretty damn cold. And I blanked, I caught nothing. I caught absolutely bugger all. I then went and did an overnighter session at Dolan's Ring. You've seen me fish there before as well. Dolan's Ring, overnighter. And the rain kicked the shit out of me for 2 days. And I blanked. I had 2 jacks, 2 runs from 2 small fish, and that was about it really. Well, today I went back on the river because I'm a glutton for punishment, and I went on the Ballinarak stretch and I blanked again. So it's been a tough few sessions. I'm not going to do individual videos for each individual session. I'm going to smash, as you can see, like I've smashed them all into one video. What's going on here? What's this fucking retard doing? Fucking dipshit. So now it's New Year's Eve. I'm going home to drink beer and bring in the bells with my family. Just wind up this window. It's getting a bit breezy. I'm going to go and drink beer, bring in the end of 2022 and say hello to the start of 2023. I want to say thank you to everyone who's doing the whole watching, liking, sharing, subscribing. I can only apologise for the lack of fish in this video. You know, sometimes it just doesn't work. I get asked, why do I go to places where you end up blanking a lot? It's my opinion that the River Erne is the best place on the Erne system to do a decent fish. That's what I think. The upper loch, whilst it's there's some nice areas, it's for the most part it's very shallow, and it has some very well-known areas that get a lot of pressure. The lower lock at the minute, it's got the pike culls on, the gill netting shit stains of society are on the system, and they'll be ripping the arse out of the lock until the end of February, with the support of the trout anglers, you know, or not all the trout anglers, but the ones that are in power and the ones that seem to have the ear of politicians. I don't get those people. These guys have been shown evidence that gill netting on the Erne kills the trout just as much as it kills the pike. But you're dealing with people where there's a higher IQ in wallpaper paste than some of them, and they honestly, genuinely believe that all pike are bad and all pike should be killed. You know, that's the level of ignorance you're dealing with. What can you do? You know, I can say thankfully it's a generational thing, because there's a lot of younger guys coming through, you know, kind of my age and younger, who are, you know, they'll be catch and release guys. They would, you know, they would understand the aquatic cultures or the ecosystems. They understand all that stuff. But unfortunately, there's people who make the rules, and they, well, the rules that they make up aren't exactly favourable to anglers. But I'm not going to rant about it. It's New Year's Eve. I'm going to go home and drink myself silly, smoke some cigars, and have a good time. So I wish you guys all the best. Obviously you're going to be watching this and it's going to be in the new year, so I'm going to talk in the past tense. I hope you had a good New Year's Eve. I hope you drank plenty, got merry. That's M-E-R-R-Y, not M-A-R-Y, the woman. Unless you're got out with a woman called Mary, in which case go and get her. But until the next time, troops, tight lines.